Hello and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. On behalf of OTC Markets, we are very pleased you have joined us for our two-day Metals and Mining Conference. Our next presentation is from G50 Corp. Please note you may submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for a one-on-one meeting by clicking Book a Meeting in the top toolbar. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Mark Wallace, Managing Director of G50 Corp, which trades on the OTCQB venture market under the symbol GFTYF and on the ASX under the symbol G50. Welcome, Mark.
Great, thank you. Hi everyone, thanks for your time. I think this is new for us. This is our first presentation on the platform. We're excited to be here. We're introducing our Golconda project in Arizona, and we've made a significant new discovery here. I would go so far as to say this is potentially probably the second largest precious metals discovery in the lower 48 in the last 2 decades. We only made this announcement 2 weeks ago. For background, we mostly trade on the ASX at this stage. There's 160 million shares on issue. Our market cap's around $50 million. Our top 40 shareholders own approximately 70% of the register, and that's a mixture of institutions and mostly entrepreneurs and high net worth investors. And I think with that, I'd love to really just move on now and introduce you to Golconda, where we are in Northwest Arizona. Standard disclaimer and forward-looking cautionary statements. For location, we're in Northwest Arizona. We're about 90 minutes driving from Vegas and roughly about 100 miles due east of Mountain Pass. Fantastic place to operate. We operate mostly from our patented claims. They're at Golconda, close to lots of infrastructure, labour. We use a lot of local communities for our support services for Golconda. And then for the discovery, you know, we have a saying at G50, which is the best place to find new ore bodies is, you know, adjacent to or underneath old ones. And we're not recreating the wheel here. We just got a fantastic old mining jurisdiction that we've applied some modern technology and modern processes to, and then we've made a significant new discovery. I'll just quickly move on. Just important to note, Golconda here is, we haven't closed it off. It's open in 3 directions. So district scale position, open along strike and depth, and also laterally as well. This is actually our second phase of drilling. We optioned the property in 2019. We spent a couple of years while private doing a lot of the first principles, working over the project and the old data points. Golconda was the highest grade zinc mine in Arizona in the early 1900s. Surface infrastructure burnt to the ground, and then Golconda's largely left in a time capsule since then. There was some sporadic campaign exploration at surface through 1980s and the early 2000s until we managed to sort of put a lot of the claims back together again, and then we've taken a bigger picture view of the geology and the model, and then we've executed accordingly. Our initial drilling program in 2023 found some shallow gold and silver, and then it pointed to something deeper seated in the system here. At surface also, we found a significant gallium discovery, and we spent the last 18 months doing some mineralogy and met testing work, and we think we probably have the largest gallium ore body in the lower 48 as well, and we've been speaking to potential partners on monetizing that as well. So we mostly were looking for shallow oxide, you know, gold and silver here, and then, as I said, after 2023 we had to change our thinking and we had to drill a little deeper. And so that's been the most exciting new update for us in the last 2 weeks. This year we drilled another 26 RC holes on top of the 12 we drilled in 2023, and 2 core holes at that stage. We've reported 14 holes only, with another 12 holes left pending, and so today I'll just be talking about the first 14 holes of this second program. Just to highlight the discovery holes that we talked to at this stage, and then I'll give you a bit of a background to the project. We are roughly a mile southeast of the Mineral Park copper moly silver mine. You can see the tailings here in the background to our property. We share claims boundaries with Mineral Park to the north. So this major discovery hole in the middle of the property, 47 meters at 2 grams gold and 40 silver, and including 0.29% zinc. As I said, Golconda and the Golconda vein was a historic base metal mine with lots of gold and silver reporting to the base metal concentrate. And our focus has been more of the precious metals opportunity here in a metal zonation. Within this result was a high-grade section of almost 17 meters at 5 gold and 100 silver and 0.6% zinc. We represent this from a depth of 191 meters down the hole. However, we are actually drilling from the side of a hill, and so approximately we're only about 120 meters below surface, and we are seeing mineralization at end of hole in a lot of these holes. GRC21, just moving along, drilled from the same pad, angled back to the southwest, and we actually picked up almost another 80 meters at 0.8 gold and 11 grams silver, and then within that was another high-grade interval which replicated what we saw in GRC22. So again, 8 meters at 5.5 gold and 32 and a bit silver, and some zinc as well from 206 meters, again ending in mineralization at end of hole. So we saw we've kind of picked up the same structure 60 meters to the southeast, and then one of the holes we drilled in 2023 is actually further 50 meters southeast from this hole. We've got continuous mineralization in that structure for over 100 to 150 meters at this stage. At the very southern end of the property, we drilled GRC17, and this is, we're trying to pick up 2 main structures that meet the southern end, and I'll show you in the plan view what that means. We've got a significant intercept of almost 100 meters at 0.3 gold, almost 5 silver, and 0.7 zinc. Now, what was really instructive with this hole, if you look at the significant intercepts within the hole, you actually see gold grading increasing as we move down through the intercepts. So we saw 30 meters at 0.3 at 172 meters. Sort of the better part of 40 meters later, you're looking at 0.42 gold, and then another 20 odd meters that's looking at 0.8. So you're looking from the better part of 67 meters, gold grade is almost tripled in that section. It's pretty rare to see, but this is really exciting for us. And the geological model we're working towards easily explains what's happening here, and we actually think it gets better the deeper we go. Now, within this is we're testing it's a porphyry system. We're distal to the mineral part porphyry, and within the porphyry at surface, the lithocat hosts a significant gallium halo. Now, this is through multi-element assaying as we do that drilling here. So we assay for 48 to 52 different elements, and we found these very continuous and consistent gallium grades here at surface. Now, holes 13 and 14 are at the northern end of the property. Hole 15 is almost a kilometre away, and we're still seeing similar 200 plus metre intercepts of 18 to 22 grams gallium, some of it from surface, and most of them ending in mineralization. Now, the significance here is actually the continuity, but also the gram meter intercepts. So a lot of people will propose to have gallium usually in an alunite, in a bauxite, or a high-grade zinc sphalerite, but they won't have intercepts like this. And we sort of point people in the direction when you're looking at projects with gallium. Gallium is secondary to other minerals. There is a primary mineral that would normally drive the economics of a project. This is secondary for us as well, but it's becoming quite meaningful very quickly. We made this discovery in 2023, just about the same time that China banned exports of gallium. And so they produce 98% of the world's gallium. About 75% of demand come from the US Department of Defense, and a lot of it's used in radar and tracking technology. And so clearly very important, and we aim to be a significant strategic supply of domestic gallium for those needs. We began mineralogy test work early this year. We reported that a month ago. Really happy that we're seeing the gallium report to a very specific mineral species. It's a silicate, and I can talk to that later if anyone has any questions. I also point everyone to our website. which is G50Corp.com. And there's a lot of collateral there and a bit more of a background to gallium itself if you'd like to understand it better. So we're 18 months to 2 years into understanding gallium at our project, and we're really excited by the opportunity that it brings. For those who have familiarity with precious metals and strategic minerals projects in the USA, we kind of fashion ourselves as the perpetuator of precious metals and gallium in the US. So they've got a fantastic gold and antimony project in Idaho. They've had a great success into attempting to commercialize that, and we think they're the yardstick for all of us to follow. And we'd expect that our timeframes will be shorter than theirs, hopefully, as we're a new discovery. But it's very, very instructive in what they've done and how they're executing their plans. So just to sort of place Golconda, here we are in northwest Arizona, as you see from the map here. The metal zonation here is our original thought process, and so this orange fault line here is roughly 20 kilometers long. It runs through the Sabat mountain range. You will notice that the major mines in the area over the last 100 years all occur in and around this major structure. Very important. So the Tennessee mine to the north, the Mineral Park copper moly silver mine that's going back into production now, and then Golconda mine that sits within our claim block. So district scale, very significant, and controls the mineralization through the area and through the mountain range. We have roughly 3 kilometers of it on our property. We've only tested about 700 meters at the moment, and that's where it gives us we're expecting to see the continuation of along strike of the results that we're sort of showing through today. This gets a little bit technical, but it goes a long way to explaining what we see, how we see it, and our next steps for our exploration program here. So on the left, this is a stylized general porphyry copper deposit. The gallium for us would sit in this surface lithocap, this quartz kaolinite you see along the top here. That's what we have, and that's what gallium would sit in. Our initial targeting was looking for these epithermal disseminated lower grade gold and silver at surface was our original target. But having drilled in 2023, we now believe we're actually in our own proper mesothermal unit. And so what does that mean? We're actually looking at this part of the system here, which is a little bit deeper, as you'll see on the left. The mesothermal unit's usually in a hotter temperature, 200 to 400 degrees. You're usually closer to the intrusion or the source, okay? And that means they're usually more prevalent in mineralization and more consistent. 70% of the world's gold and copper is produced from the mesothermal units, okay, around the world. These are usually, targets that larger companies would have in a portfolio to be targeting and exploring for. Very, very rare to have these in a smaller company like G50. The reason that's happened, and the reason we have it here, is we're a lot closer to the surface than you'd normally see in the mesothermal setting. So using this here as our guide, you're normally 1 to 2 kilometers deep before you get to the mesothermal target. For us at Golconda, with the uplift in the last sort of 60 million years when the mountain range was formed, and then with the erosion of the surface, a lot of that epithermal part of the system is eroded away, and we're straight into the mesothermal unit. We're only about 120 meters, actually 60 meters at the base of oxidation. We show Mineral Park here to the north, as I said, going back into production now. Here's the outline of our claims in our property, and then this is sort of reporting on the results that we have through 2023 and more recently from phase 2 exploration. This is the model we're testing. The average size and scale of a mesothermal ore body is roughly 1 kilometer in vertical depth. We believe we're clipping the top of the top 50, 100 meters of ours with a lot further to go. This is from the early 1900s. This was the Golconda mine drilling and mining for the high-grade gold and silver, zinc and lead at Golconda. It was sent to the UK for processing, and a lot of the gold and silver in the concentrate would have supported that travel. There was some slight early drilling in the 80s. In 2003, Odessa drilled 3 RC holes only. They're getting some interesting hits of sort of 10 meters at almost 2 gold and 39 silver. and that's what we see pretty consistently at surface. In 2003, gold price was sub $1,000. These results would have been interesting, that wouldn't have supported a commercial outcome, and wasn't followed up. For us, when we got the property in 2019, again, we brought everything up to a 2023 standard. So geophysics, geochem, intense mapping of the structures, and then the geophysics, and then we interpret it through our Leapfrog and our digital model, came up with our targets, and that's what we currently evolve to then work towards and prosecute at this stage. One of the most exciting holes in the program is GRC03. Now, we drilled down dip because of topography. We actually had to collar in the top of the tub zone. That intersected 11 meters at 1.2 gold, 400 silver, 0.3 copper, and 0.55 zinc from 61. And we actually went through some workings to get to that point. And that was really instructive for us. That sort of gave us an idea that we might be onto something. So, evolving quickly now to where we are today. This is the plan view of our collars. The outline of our claim is just here, and the rest of our claims actually off the boundary of the map. I'll talk to A, B, and C prime here of the drill collars, the drill holes today. Just quickly, the green here is the 2023 drilling program. The blue, dark blue and light blue is drilling from this year's program, and the light blue are the assays still pending. You will see that as we progressed our drilling, we tightened up the spacing, and that was to inform us of the consistency of the mineralization, especially in this tub structure. But this main tub structure is the main target and control of through the system, and then we have these lateral opportunities as well. So we've got the footwall of the tub vein system. We've got stockwork veinings here, 500 meters wide at this part of the project, 50 to 100 meters down here as well. And we know that the Greenland and the Mexican had sort of scratchings and small scale mines on them. And you'll also notice for the eagle-eyed, the Golden Eagle here was also a historical mine. That's a kilometre away from AA prime, and leads us to believe that we can extend the strike from the property all the way up there. So this is really instructive. This is really driving our model. I'll get into now the most exciting part of it. This is GRC22 that I mentioned at the start of the presentation. The tub vein here, which is we've confirmed is mineralized. You're seeing it end of hole. You're seeing it in the footwall part of this zone here as well. And we believe that there's a lot of depth extension here. We showed the bottom of the Golconda mine workings again. It stopped mining in 1917. That was hitting 13 gram gold and over 300 grams silver down there at the 425 meter level where it was developed to. So that still leads and supports us with our view, the deeper we go, that we think the grades can get better. If we look laterally here, we've got some in situ channel sampling that we did with the rock saw, getting consistent channel samples with 0.14 gold and 280 silver, and then 1.3 gold here and 26 silver. And so these are parallel structures that you run about 50, 55 degrees into the side of the mountain. And we believe that there's more work to be done here to bulk up and add some potential tonnage from out here in the west. Our main goal now is to try and test the depth extension here and then try and follow this down. So remember, the tub is 3 kilometers long. We've only tested 700 meters so far, and we're pretty excited at the depth opportunity. So just we note here that base of oxidation, the top 20 meters is actually probably where you see most of the oxidized part of it. The next 40 meters is very much a transitional looking ore, and then you're really into deep sulfides at 60 meters. So really shallow, and then really consistent through the whole property, and really exciting for us to follow up and chase here. I don't show GRC21, but take it from us, it looks exactly the same, but 60 meters more to the southeast. And we're currently looking northwest here in this plan view. These stockwork veins, to just remind you, there's the better part of 400 to 500 meters here. That's all open opportunity to extend this laterally from surface. This is BB prime, so now we're looking at a couple of 100 meters southeast of that last hole. The topography's changed. We had to set up in top of the tub structure here that we've picked up again and improved the mineralization in the footwall zone. This orange looking stuff is what the gallium would sit in. And so this was a vertical hole, just trying to test for mineralization, consistent gallium results in the hole. And then we're also seeing the gold and silver and zinc as well. And so we know there is the Golconda vein here was the base metal dominant part of the system. This tub definitely appears to be the precious metals dominant, and that's what we're going to follow up and keep chasing. This here is effectively bottom end of the development of the Golconda. And you can see it quite here. The opportunity for us is these open sort of structures all the way down. This is the 13 grams gold and 300 odd silver down here. So that's really exciting. The southern end of the property is interesting for us. This is where the Golconda and the tub structures meet, and it provides a lot of complexity. And that's kind of what we want to see at a project like this of its size and scale. And we're trying to find out what was going on when these two structures got close together. We kind of clipped, and it looks like it's down dip, but we definitely got into the footwall part of the tub structure. And this is that 100 odd meters, almost at 0.3 gold and 5 silver and 0.7 zinc to end of hole. And it's still open at depth. So again, more consistent gallium within the sulfides. We know that the gallium sits within the silicates and the argillic alteration, so a completely different mineral species. We think that lends us to preferentially recover the gallium from that part of it as we're picking up, and then going to send the sulfides to a different part of the system out for processing. So this is really instructive. This is where we got, the deeper we went, the higher the grades the gold went, and this is really exciting for us. So this is a full 700 meters away from GRC22, and again, you know, proves that we've got a pretty significant system here to deal with and prosecute. So, you know, just sort of highlighting its strategic importance and our location. So, you know, precious metals significantly in demand. We're you know, gold and silver bulls privately, but we have to make these things commercial. And so we've got a very strong concept of the model and what we're prosecuting here. The gallium that comes along with the precious metals here will help support, you know, probably very, you know, commercial size scale project here, and that's the opportunity that we're working towards. We have a drill out phase that needs to be followed up. So next steps would be, this is all RC drilling so far. So we would expect to bring a core rig out here and test the deeper and the depth extensions, especially around GRC22 and at the southern end of the property. Some infill as well, and then we're looking at towards a maiden resource at some stage, depending on the geostatistics of what the consultants come up with. So this is quickly going from you know, a small scale, small pit sort of design into a very big, you know, opportunity and potential ore body. Mineralogy and metallurgical workflow on the sulfides will begin once after we get the next bit of core drilling completed. We know there was very little in deleterious elements. We know that the zinc and lead that was produced from the Golconda was very sweet, they would call it. It was probably running about half ounce to ounce gold and about 3 ounce silver. And then and that sort of replicated what we see deeper here as well. And our geological model, you know, justifies exactly what we're seeing, where we're seeing it, and how we see it. So we would like to begin that test work before the winter. We have all weather drilling here at Golconda. There's about the month of October. It can get a bit tricky, but very mild conditions, what we're used to. And we expect to be drilling consistently here now through into 2026. Arizona is a fantastic mining jurisdiction. Operating from our patented claims makes a significant difference for us, and our pathway to commercialization we think will be shorter than most. But you know, strong mining history and culture, we feel very welcome here. And so you can tell from my accent, I'm not local, but you know, after working here now for about 4 or 5 years between Arizona and Nevada, I feel like a local and very much welcome. My hometown of Kalgoorlie in Western Australia is a gold mining town, and not dissimilar to Kingman, which is where I seem to spend most of my time. So, you know, just sort of rounding out and finishing off, you know, we're drilling in the shadows of head frames. I think the opportunity here for us has become far bigger than we even thought. The mesothermal unit is a nice surprise. We knew it was there, but we didn't quite know what was controlling mineralization. And, you know, we kind of say this is not the discovery before the discovery. This definitely is the discovery, and so it's really exciting for us. It was the difficult to interpret some of the historical data to rebuild that. It was stuck in a time capsule, and we came back and rebuilt everything and started from scratch, and it gives us a fantastic idea of a path forward. So we're confirming size and scale, and we think it gets a lot bigger. Very high value, precious metals that comes along with the gallium halo, and the opportunity is to prosecute the model to work out the best way of extracting both here for the benefit of all. So I'll just, I've come up to 25 odd minutes. There is some questions that have come through, and I'll just address them now. Speaking to infrastructure and neighbouring mines for Golconda, Mineral Park is by far the biggest. So that's owned by a private equity group out of Canada. That's a significant silver component to that mine. It's been on care and maintenance for about 10 or 15 years, and the guys there are doing a great job of putting that back into production. So we have seen significant activity there. And like I said, it's only about a mile to our north, and it's great to see them busy and active. Do we have any all-in sustaining costs for our projects at Golconda? No, not yet. A lot of the historical data is 100 years old. I think what we're looking at is building out some size and scale, and grade is king. And so we kind of look at seeing this as a 700 meters by sort of 25 meters by 250 meters deep. If we take, we see subtle faults cross-cutting the main tub structure, and that's where we get these flares in the precious metal values. We would expect to see that in these mesothermal units, a lot of the mineralization very limited in the way of waste rock. So if you start thinking about CapEx and OpEx, we think because of the nature of topography, the dipping angle and nature of the structures, the host rock is a granite gneiss, so we think we can have a nice steep pit wall on the eastern side. So we're already started putting our thoughts together on, strip ratios, waste rock, and so on. The most forgiving part of the project is the fact that the deeper we go, the grades get better, and that does forgive a lot of sins. And grade is king. So we don't know yet. Way too early and very much presumptuous. But we've got a lot of confidence that we can turn this into something that would be economic and commercial. And there's another question down here now. Any other US sources or active gallium mines? Good question. USGS quotes 3 locations. One is Round Top in Texas, which is part of a rare earth mine. I believe that is in a listed vehicle. And then there's another group, I think, privately that have gallium. They call it, I think it's underneath a national park in Montana. I can't remember. So the interesting part of that question is, and I'll just go back to that, gallium, there's no such thing as a primary gallium ore body. Gallium is secondary to other primary minerals, and at the moment most gallium comes from processing bauxite, and that's what the Chinese do. There's not much bauxite in the lower 48. Gallium does occur with high-grade zinc sphalerite ore bodies. So Clarksville Refinery in Tennessee is proposing to put in a gallium and germanium refining circuit, but it's really difficult to sort of get the gallium out of the sulfide structure. And so this is where ours is a bit unique. It sits in what we call the silicate. And even within that, it sits in 2 unique species of the silicate. And so I'll point you to our mineralogy update we put out last month. And by volume, about 70-80% of the gallium reports to this silicate species, the kaolinite and the muscovite. And we have seen work that's been completed by Kaiser Aluminium in the 70s and 80s in conjunction with USGS. And we think that we can preferentially pre-concentrate that, crush, grind, screen, maybe and then leach with some acid. And we're going to try and prefer a conventional method for recoveries there. So as you can tell, we're really excited. We've done a lot of work on both. We haven't been marketing a lot until we had more of these questions answered, but now we're at a point now, especially in conjunction with the precious metals, that we're going to have something commercial here in due course. For us now, it's just deciding how big it is. And so that's our opportunity. So we expect the next 12 assays back in the next sort of 2 to 4 weeks. that will then drive updating our geological model and then coming on to then working out the next plan of drilling. And we're locking in a core rig now for hopefully drilling in the next quarter. So we're really excited. I think I've pretty much come up to my time now. So I think I've answered all the questions, and thank you everyone for your time. I think if that is nothing further, again, I'm available for one-on-ones. I'll point you to our website and then email us queries@g50corp.com. And I'm very passionate in talking about Golconda and Arizona and gold and silver and gallium. And I look forward to keeping everyone updated. Thank you for your time today.